Victoria Cross was the most coveted gallantry award for colonial India. Once India turned independent, of course it wanted to institute its own gallantry award for its hero. But it was the Dominion in the British Commonwealth still. So it needed to then wait till the first Republic Day celebration to finally honor its own braves with its own gallantry award, the Paramveer Chakra. 5 brave hearts of first India-Pakistan conflict were honored with the Paramveer Chakra on 26 January 1950. It was just the beginning. India so far has honored 21 brave hearts with the Paramveer.
India so far has recognized 21 brave hearts with Paramveer Chakra. 14 of them have received it posthumously and only one has been awarded to the Indian Air Force. All 20 others have been from the Indian Army and 16 of these have been from actions in India-Pakistan conflicts. When India celebrated the first Republic Day on 26th of January 1950, 5 brave hearts of the Indian Army were honored with Paramveer Chakra for their courageous defense of motherland in the first ever India-Pakistan conflict in Jammu Kashmir within months of independence. 3 of them received it posthumously and only 2 were able to live the moment of glory in person. The first Paramveer Chakra was given posthumously to Major Somnath Sharma of Kumaon Regiment.
I stand here as 15 Corps Commander in Jammu and Kashmir and in the Kashmir Valley specifically because Somnath Sharma and his Delta Company landed at Bandgaon and held it.
Right now we are standing on the Badgam high ground. This is the very place wherein Major Somnath Sharma along with his company were deployed in order to save the airfield from falling into the hands of the Lashkar tribes and the Pakistani army personnel who had come here disguised as tribesmen in order to capture the Kashmir Valley.
He was from a second generation of the Indian Army, had fought his battles in the Second World War and was so determined that despite having fractured his arm, he was ready to go to battle.
He was martyred while staving off an enemy attack on the Badgam Aerodrome in Kashmir Valley on 3rd November 1947. He was personally filling magazines and issuing them to the light machine gunners when an explosion killed him. His martyrdom delayed the enemy for 6 hours.
It's a beautiful story of leadership and leading from the front that Major Somnath Sharma showed that day, for which these soldiers were able to fight back these tribesmen for almost 7 to 8 hours till the time further reinforcement came approximately 1 kilometer from here to the location called Humama, wherein more army was pumped in, and finally we were able to stamp the movement of these tribesmen further ahead.
Nayak Jadunath Singh of Rajput Regiment was commanding a forward post on 6th of February 1948 at Taindhar near Naushera in Jammu and Kashmir.
When 3 consecutive attacks, they came on to his post, and he held on to the post, losing 4 men in the first attack and getting wounded mortally himself also. Thereafter, he continued to beat back the attacks when good about they say 4,000 to 6,000 odd Lashkars had attacked his post.
When the enemy attacked, Nayak Jadunath did not flinch for a second, despite being alone and wounded. In a brave solitary charge, he rushed towards the enemy with his 10 gun.
He knew that the third wave will certainly capture his locality. Undoubtedly, he held his men, took a Bren's 10 gun and charged onto the assaulting tribals, killing several of them in this charge. Unfortunately, Nayak Jadunath received a bullet in his head and attained martyrdom for his country, thus saving Naushera from the onslaught of the tribals.
At the cost of supreme sacrifice of his life, he made the enemy run away in disorder. He was awarded Paramveer Chakra posthumously at the first Republic Day celebration of India. Two months later, on 8th of April 1948, 2nd Lieutenant Rama Raghoba Rane of Bombay Sepas was in charge of the mine and roadblock clearing party at mile 26 on Naushera-Rajouri Road in Jammu and Kashmir.
Armored vehicles were supposed to move from Naushera to Rajouri to attack the Pakistani raiders. The access was completely laid with anti-tank mines. The area was also under constant enemy machine gun and mortar fire. Second Lieutenant Rane's leg was smashed with mortar fire, but ignoring his pain, he continued to concentrate on his main task.
When the heavy shelling of the enemy started, a wounded 2nd Lieutenant Rane navigated a tank through the minefield.
He was crawling beneath the tank and he was having 2 ropes on both the sides. He was pulling his right rope to indicate the tank to stop. Then he was crawling and he was neutralizing the anti-tank mines. And again, after neutralizing the mine, he was pulling the rope towards his left as indication to tank to resume. Hence, he cleared the way for the tank to move ahead.
This Paramveer was one of the 2 who could receive his gallantry award in person in the first award ceremony. Three months later, on 18th of July 1948, Company Havildar Major Piru Singh of 6th Rajputana Rifles braved heavy MMG fire and a volley of grenades to attack an enemy-occupied hill feature at Titwal in Jammu and Kashmir.
Almost half his section become casualties to enemy machine gun fire. Company Havildar Major Piru Singh yelled out his battle cry of Raja Ramchandar ki Jai and rushed forward up the rocky ridge, throwing himself at the trench where the enemy MMG was firing from and killing the enemy gunners with his 10 gun.
While moving from trench to trench, a grenade came and it blasted in front of his face. At this point of time, his face was completely damaged, he was blinded, but before this, he makes sure that he takes on the other two Pakistani soldiers who were there in that trench. He jumped onto them and he killed them both, and in the meantime he threw one grenade into the neighboring trench in which another two Pakistani soldiers were present.
This Paramveer was grievously injured, yet crawled forward with blood dripping from his face as he destroyed the enemy position before breathing his last. Lance Naik Karam Singh of Sikh Regiment was commanding a section at Richmar Gully in Jammu and Kashmir on 13th October 1948, when the enemy commenced its attack with heavy shelling of guns and mortars.
Lance Naik Karam Singh, during the operations at Richmar Gully, took on enemy wave of attack after attack with sheer courage and will to fight. Enemy launched 8 attacks on Karam Singh's company in a bid to capture it and then skirting Titwal for further advance and attack Srinagar.
The first India-Pakistan conflict by then was already a year old. Despite bleeding profusely, Lance Naik Karam Singh went from bunker to bunker, encouraging his comrades to fight. Together they launched a counter-attack and charged at the enemy to defend Richmar Gully.
We are heavily outnumbered. There are just 3 of us and you are the 4th one. What do we do now? A Sikh soldier asks Lance Naik Karam Singh. He proudly replies, if we die today, we will be remembered forever. And thus, there are many who will continue this fight behind us.
Lance Naik Karam Singh was the other Paramveer living inspiration for generations of Indians till his death in 1993. During the Congo crisis, Captain Gurbachan Singh Salaria was ordered to clear a roadblock established by Katangese troops in Katanga's Elizabethville on 5th of December 1961.
The Congolese forces had covered all the UN forces, and soon they had established roadblocks that would cut off the UN forces from their headquarters. Hence, Operation Okerato was conducted by 31GR.
Whilst being deployed there in Congo, the Gendarmerie were coming on heavily upon the UN forces, and they had established a roadblock from a road leading from the refugee camp to the airport, and the airport was a vital lifeline for all the UN forces deployed in Congo.
Captain Salaria's men charged the enemy with bayonets, kukris and hand grenades, killing 40 and destroying 2 enemy cars. Captain Salaria, despite being wounded in the neck, continued fighting till he succumbed to his injuries. His bold and courageous action completely demoralized the enemy, who fled despite their large numbers.
Thereafter, when he proceeded to neutralize the enemy further, he received 2 gunshot wounds in his neck. But despite that, he refused to be evacuated, and without caring for his personal safety, he led the assault and destroyed more enemy. And this is the act which helped the entire battalion thereafter in clearing the roadblock.
Major Dhan Singh Thapa of 8 Gorkha Rifles was a braveheart of the 1962 Indochina War. On 2nd of October 1962, Major Dhan Singh Thapa's post was attacked by Chinese troops through intense artillery and mortar bombardments. Under his leadership, the outnumbered post countered the attack, inflicting heavy casualties on them.
Soldier is in his bunker, in his trench, where he's safe. But his task of moving around, meeting everybody, motivating them,
was putting his life at risk. Knowing very well, but he knew what is to be achieved, what is expected out of him, and that is where he put everything at stake and went around doing that.
If a man says he is not afraid to die, either he is lying or he is a Gorkha. This is one of the great motivation during Battle of Sirjab. Battle of Sirjab is the first battle in Chushul sector.
Subedar Joginder Singh's platoon of 1 Sikh regiment repulsed 2 Chinese attacks in Bumla, Arunachal Pradesh on 23rd October 1962, causing heavy losses to the enemy.
He with his platoon comprising 1 JSU and 29 other ranks were tasked to take up a defensive position in the Nefa sector in the area of Bumla Pass.
Barely 2 months from his date of retirement, Subedar Joginder Singh, Paramveer Chakra, decided to hold the enemy attack and beat them back almost 3 times. The first assault was beaten back with almost half of his platoon either injured or dead. Subedar Joginder Singh again took the task at hand, motivated his boys and coordinated a defense to beat back the second assault.
Chinese in the 62 war, wherever they came upon us, they heavily outnumbered us, but Subedar Joginder Singh, due to his personal leadership qualities and motivation, ensured that his post stood fast and each and every one of them fought till the last man, last round. Subedar Joginder Singh had been injured in his thigh after the first attack, but he refused to be evacuated.
Under the leadership of Paramveer Subedar Singh, his platoon stubbornly held its ground and he attained martyrdom during a bayonet charge. Major Shaitan Singh was commanding a company of 13 Kumaon at Rizangla in Jammu and Kashmir at a height of about 17,000 feet on 18th of November 1962.
As far as the Battle of Rizangla is concerned, it is one of the most heroic battles fought in the military history. There were meager resources with the Indian troops. They were also limited in numbers. But in spite of that, they were determined to fight enemy who was numerically superior and also had better equipment with him.
When the Chinese troops attacked Major Shaitan Singh, despite being grievously wounded, he continued to encourage and lead his men, who inflicted heavy casualties on the enemy.
हमारे पास अम्नेशन भी खत्म हो गया समझो। कोई किसी जवान को जैसे गोली लगी और वो शहीद हो गया तो वो 2-4 राउंड बच भी गए तो उससे चलाने वाले खत्म हो गए तो राउंड क्या करें। उस पोस्ट पर 124 आदमी मेजर शैतान सिंह की अध्यक्षता में ये चीन को सबक सिखा दिया कि लड़ाई किस तरह की होती है।
During the Second India-Pakistan War of 1965, Lieutenant Colonel A.B. Tarapur led his regiment to attack against an enemy's charge on 11th of September 1965.
Colonel Tarapur, as the commandant, gave out his orders, and thereafter the regiment advanced to capture Libbe. There were several tank engagements with the enemy pattern tanks, in which Colonel Tarapur and his crew were responsible for destroying 2 enemy tanks.
The brave heart of the 1965 war, despite being wounded, declined to be evacuated and led his regiment to capture Wazirwali, Jasoran and Buttur Dongrandi.
For 10 days, Colonel Tarapur fought like a lion. wherever there was action, he was at the forefront. People say that there were so many instances when it seemed he was everywhere. On 16 September, at the moment of victory, after this battle was over, he came out of the tank for fresh air and have a cup of tea. It was here that a arty shell landed quite close to his tank, mortally wounding Colonel Tarapore. Finally, on 17 September, Colonel Tarapore was cremated at Jasoram.
Company Quartermaster Havildar Abdul Hamid served in 4 Grenadiers in Khemkaran sector on 10th of September 1965.
He was the dead commander for that RCL gun. He moved his jeep towards the flank and taking the advantage of restricted visibility, he started destroying the tanks. Almost he destroyed 5 tanks before even he was being detected.
When Pakistani forces launched an attack with Pathan tanks in the Khemkaran sector, Paramveer Hamid led his squad to destroy 7 Pakistan tanks before getting mortally wounded.
Abdul Hamid made a mark not only for himself but for the entire Indian Army. With his recoilless gun and with each shot he fired from the gun, he busted the tanks, Pathan tanks of the Pakistani Army. Not 1, not 2, but 7 in all. And preventing or rather halting the Pakistani Army at Asar Uttar. So that is why you say that this was the turning point. Pakistani Army stopped or rather called off the battle after this onslaught of Abdul Hamid.
Lance Naik Albert Ekka led the forward company of 14 guards during the attack on the enemy defences in Ganga Sagar in the Indo-Pak War of 1971.
Battle of 1971, that is the liberation of Bangladesh. 14 guards was tasked to capture Pakistan position at Ganga Sagar. The battalion decided to launch an attack with 2 companies up. Albert Ekka was part of left leading company.
On 4th of December 1971, Lance Naik Ekka charged an enemy bunker, silenced 2 machine gun bunkers who were raining heavy fires on Indian forces.
Total dedication and initiative. He himself crawled onto this bunker, which was heavily fortified, lobbed a grenade, killed those 2 people and saved many casualties of his company.
On 14th of December 1971, Srinagar airfield was bombed by 6 Pakistani Sabre aircraft.
They took cover of these mountains, came from behind Pir Panjal, and thereafter entering the valley they ducked down low to evade the radar cover. The Sabres would be flying at around 700 to 800 kilometers an hour, so they take barely about 2.5 minutes to come over Srinagar.
In spite of the immense risk to life for attempting to take off during the air attack, Flying Officer Nirmaljit Singh Sekhon of 18th Squadron of Indian Air Force engaged with 4 Pakistani Sabres aircraft.
So when he took off, these aircraft were already in front of him, and just after taking off, he engaged them.
He was in mortal danger. The enemy was already on top of the airfield and they were dropping their bombs, they were strafing, and all this while Nirmaljit Singh Sekhon was ready and raring to go. So he was there that if I am here, you better not come. And if you are coming here, I will not let you go back. A
apart from concentrating on his takeoff, he also had to concentrate where the aircraft are.
So he took a direct shot on the first aircraft and he damaged the second aircraft.
There were 2 aircraft who had finished their raid and they had pulled out from the dive. There were 4 more behind.
Seeing 2 of their wingmen getting shot by a single fighter aircraft, they did not dare to come and engage in combat and flew away homeward.
So Flying Officer Nirmaljit Singh Sekhon showed extreme bravery, total disregard for his own safety, and his single aim was to ensure safety of the Srinagar airfield.
He was martyred after being shot down by one of the sabres. On 15th of December 1971, Major Hoshiar Singh Dahiya was ordered to capture the enemy locality of Jarpal in the Western Front when his company came under intense shelling.
Having captured and occupied defences in the village Jarpal, enemy decided to counterattack the village which was occupied by 3 grenadiers, and 3 grenadiers having occupied the defences on the day and night of 15th and 16th, enemy launched major counter-offensive on that.
He led the charge and captured an objective after a fierce hand-to-hand fight.
Enemy had launched 7 counter-offensive on that night, led by the battalion commander himself, and in that battle he along with a large number of enemy troops got killed.
Second Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal of A Squadron opted to reinforce B Squadron at Shakkargarh sector on 16th December 1971.
Any armored regiment in Indian Army, there's a very special connect and bond between the men and his equipment. Since he volunteered to go for the battle, the then Commandant, Colonel Hanup Singh, he ordered him and organized a special course for him, in which he gained all expertise with speed. He was there on the tanks maintaining himself, and it is an inspiring feat to see that he got that ability within a short span of time.
He reached B Squadron position and personally destroyed 5 enemy tanks.
The 2 regiments of the 8th Armored Brigade of Pakistan launched, that was turned later on, as a history says, that it was declared as a complete failure. And the only reason what Pakistan says that the attack was a failure was because of the last stand took by 2nd Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal.
He was badly injured and was ordered to pull back, but he declined.
Major Nasir Ahmed, he, after the battle finished and the ceasefire was declared, he in fact walked up and he wanted to meet the 3 brave tank commanders who foiled the counter-attack of his squadron. And later on he recounted that the counter-attack by the spearheads, that is 13 Lancers, was foiled by Lieutenant Arun Khetrapal, who stood like an insurmountable rock between the success and the failure of counter-attack launched by his squadron.
On 26th of June 1987, Naib Subedar Bana Singh of 8th Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry volunteered to clear Quaid Post, held by Pakistan Army in the Siachen Glacier.
There are 3 entries to the glacier, Siala, Belafont and Yongla. While we were holding all 3, but one shoulder of it went to the Pakistanis. That was the Quaid Post. Now Quaid-e-Azam Post thereafter was crucial because we knew it would then flow on and open, slowly unravel the whole thing and possibly give him a direct access to the glacier.
At an altitude of 21,000 feet, Naib Subedar Bana and his team charged with their bayonets and killed some Pakistani soldiers while the remaining enemies were forced to jump off the cliff in fear. Major Ramaswamy Parameshwaran of 8th Mahar Regiment was ambushed by a group of militants on 25th of November 1987.
On 25th November 1987, during Op Pavan in northern Jaffna, when he was returning back after carrying out a search operation, his party was ambushed by the enemy, and the enemy had surrounded this column in such a manner that it is very difficult to extricate yourself and come out alive.
He was one of the first company commanders of the 8th Mahar Regiment to land in the jungles of North Jaffna, Sri Lanka as part of Indian peacekeeping forces. And while leading a patrol, he was ambushed by the Tamil militants. The officer, in a hand-to-hand battle, killed 6 militants and wounded many.
With the presence of mind, he encircled the militants from the rear and took them by surprise and attacked them. His courageous actions resulted in 5 militants getting killed and numerous weapons and ammunition being recovered.
It was this counter-ambush drill which made sure that the enemy was surprised, and actually the enemy started running away and petering out. This sole action, Major Perry was wounded so badly that still he could understand that with his supreme sacrifice or the action which he was doing will be able to save so many lives, and not only save so many lives but also inflict that casualty on enemy that will have a lesson learned.
Lieutenant Manoj Kumar Pandey of 11 Gorkha Rifles was tasked to clear Khaluba Ridge in Batalik, Jammu and Kashmir. On 3rd of July 1999, as his company was advancing, it came under heavy enemy fire. Responding to which, he fearlessly assaulted the enemy, killing 4 enemy troops and destroying 2 bunkers. During Kargil operation, Grenadier Yogendra Singh Yadav was part of the Ghatak platoon assigned to capture Tiger Hill Top in Dras, Jammu and Kashmir.
Yogendra Yadav's case, the most amazing part is that firstly the nature of task given to them, and obviously he was part of a Ghatak platoon which was given the most difficult approach to Tiger Hill to be opened up and thereafter assaulted. That is one part. So obviously he had a difficult task at hand. He undertook it well prepared. But what happened thereafter is that when the operation is going on and he loses his commander and everybody around him and there are only few people left, he is a rifleman again. The beauty of his valor lies in that he did all that he did without any guidance.
On 3rd of July 1999, under heavy enemy fire, he charged on a bunker and killed 3 Pakistani soldiers. Inspired by his bravery, his platoon captured Tiger Hill Top.
हैंड ग्रेनेड निकाला, उसको ग्रेनेड को निकाल करके पिन निकाली और उसके ऊपर ऐसे फेंक दिया. कोट लगे हुए थे, कोट के अंदर जो हुड लगे थे, हुड के अंदर वो ग्रेनेड गिरा तो उसने तुरंत पीछे की तरफ मुड़ करके देखा तो पीछे तो कोई मूवमेंट था नहीं, और जब तक वो ग्रेनेड को निकाल पाता ग्रेनेड फट गया. उसका यहाँ से पूरा सर उड़ा और हमारे ऊपर आकर के गिरा. बस उस धमाके से पाकिस्तान के जो दूसरे सैनिक थे उनमें खलबली मच गई कि इनमें से कोई जिंदा है, लेकिन कुछ बोले जिंदा नहीं, नीचे से फौज आ गई. वही एक मौका था मेरे पास जो मैं अपनी मातृभूमि के लिए कुछ विशेष कर गुजर सकता था. मैं तुरंत उसकी राइफल को ऐसे उठाने की कोशिश करी, लेकिन ये हाथ तो हिला ही नहीं. एक हाथ से राइफल उठाया, वहां से फायरिंग किया, दूसरी जगह से पलटा खाया, तीसरे जगह से पलटा खा करके 3-4 जगह से जब हमने पत्थरों से फायर किया तो उनको लगा कि हाँ नीचे से रिइंफोर्समेंट आ गई है. और वहां से वो भाग खड़े हुए। 3-4 पाकिस्तानी को मौत के घाट उतार चुका था, फिर भी क्रॉल करता हुआ आगे की तरफ बढ़ा। 3-4 मीटर आगे गया हूं, देखता हूं तो वो भागते हुए जा रहे हैं, तो सामने उनके लंगर चल रहा है, उनका मोटर पोजीशन है, उनके इस तरह से ढलान के अंदर लिविंग टेंट लगे हुए, सब कुछ वहां से क्लियर दिख रहा था। सब कुछ देखा, क्योंकि उस समय जहन के अंदर एक ही चीज थी, अपने साथियों को बचाना, अपने पोस्ट को बचाना। इस हाथ को ऐसे बांधने की कोशिश करने लगा, लेकिन ये हाथ बंधा भी नहीं। फिर सोचा कि कट गया, तोड़ करके फेंक देता हूं। तोड़ने की भी कोशिश करी, लेकिन टूटा नहीं। इसको उठाया, पीछे कमर पे फेंका और बेल्ट में फंसा लिया। सोचता रहा कि कहां से जाऊं, कैसे जाऊं। तभी कोई ऐसी आवाज थी जिसने आवाज आई कि उसने बोला, बेटा इस नाले से नीचे की तरफ चला। बिना कुछ सोचे समझे उस नाले से लुढ़क गया। लुढ़कते लुढ़कते जब नीचे पहुंचा तो एकदम नाले के अंदर गड्ढा है, एक हाथ से पत्थर पकड़ करके लटका हुआ था। तब मुझे लगा कि मैं पाकिस्तान की तरफ आ गया हूँ। नीचे की तरफ देखा तो मुझे मेरे साथी नजर आए, वहां से मुझे उठा करके लेके गए। फिर उनको मैंने तमाम जो बताया कि सर इस तरह से कहानी हुई है। उन्होंने सीओ को बताया, जो कमांडिंग ऑफिसर कर्नल कुशाल चंद ठाकुर, उन्होंने बोला इस लड़के को जल्दी जल्दी मेरे पास पहुंचाओ। तो सीओ के पास मैं पहुंचा तो शाम हो चुकी थी और मुझे भी दिखाई देना बिल्कुल बंद हो गया था। उन्होंने बोला, बेटा पहचानता? मैं सब सिर्फ आवाज़ सुनाई दे रही, लेकिन दिखाई कुछ नहीं दे रहा। बोला, मैं तेरा कमांडिंग ऑफिसर कर्नल कुशाल चंद ठाकुर। उनका जय हिंद साहब, बहुत तेज सर्दी लग रही है। तो उन्होंने टेंट में लिटाया, 3-4 स्टोव जलवाई, थोड़ा सा पानी पिलाया तो होश आया। उन्होंने बोला, बेटा कुछ बता सकता है? तब ऊपर का तमाम घटनाक्रम बताया कि सर ये कहानी हुई और ये होने वाली है। बोला, जवान की रिक्वायरमेंट साहब, जवान की रिक्वायरमेंट फील्ड पट्टी और अम्युनिशन की है, खाने के लिए नहीं चाहिए। साथियों 72 घंटे से भी ज़्यादा का समय हो गया था। 2 आदमियों ने सिर्फ आधा बिस्कुट का पैकेट खाया था, आधा तो बैलेंस ही था। ये सब कुछ बताने के बाद फिर डॉक्टर साहब ने कौन सा इंजेक्शन लगाया, फिर मुझे पता नहीं मैं कहाँ पर हूँ।
As the leading scout of a company of 13 Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, Rifleman Sanjay Kumar was assigned to capture the area Flat Top on 4th of July 1999 in Mushko Valley. This Paramveer killed 3 of the intruders and after picking up a universal machine gun, even killed the fleeing enemy. His comrades charged and captured the area Flat Top. Captain Vikram Batra of 13 Jammu and Kashmir Rifles was nearly 25 years old in July of 1999. He was tasked to capture point 5140.
Vikram Batra, in any case, as we all know, is an icon by himself, right? And his actions are not limited to one operation. You know, within a period of 20 days, he undertook 2 operations. And in each one of them, the type of courage and valor he exhibited is unparalleled. He is another case. While he has already displayed extreme valor a few days ago, now he takes it upon himself and he says, I will lead the charge.
In a feat of bravery, he killed 4 enemy troops in a close combat battle. And then on 7th of July, in a fierce hand-to-hand fight, he killed 5 enemy soldiers. Despite suffering grave injuries, he led his men from the front and pressed on the attack before attaining martyrdom.
Now he led a team of a small action team, you can say, that what we call in the army here. And he was with the JCO at that time. So the JCO said, no sahab, I'll lead the charge. But to the JCO, Vikram Batra went and said that, nahi sahab, aap baal bacche wala aadmi hai, mere ko aage le jane do. And you look after the children, you have got people to look after too, I don't have anybody. So let me lead the charge. Now this is what shows his selfless valor, his courage and his devotion to the duty, even beyond the call of duty which has been asked. Vikram Batra led the charge, went in and he closed into the bunker through the Sangar with his AK-47, continuously fired and was able to kill 5 of the enemy. Now during that charge he was shot in the chest and as he fell he got splinter injuries, and that is when we lost the brave hero.
Inspired by this Paramveer's valor, his troops captured point 4875.
India's Paramveers are bright, gallant inspiration of selfless devotion to motherland. All of 21 of them are now immortalized in the Indian soil. The island is in their own name now, and they are shining bright for all in the Bay of Bengal. We say Jai Hind to them and thank you for their service to this country.